Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Kiddushin, page 43, which discusses the concept of Ein Shliach L'Davar Aver, namely, that if I would ask you to go and commit a particular sin for me, and I say, I want you to go and worship an idol. So in that situation, I'm not held accountable. I'm not responsible, because you should have used your own decision making and decided that who is this person to tell me to commit such a horrendous crime of worshiping an idol and showing a lack of respect to God. Instead, I'm not going to do so. But if the person did, so he's accountable. And the Talmud goes through certain situations. There's sometimes that actually even the one who told you to do something is going to be responsible. But generally speaking, we don't say that. And that itself stands on its own, because we know that a person can say, oh, it's not my fault, it's someone else's fault, it's my environment, I was coerced, I was told to do something, I wasn't in the best school. The idea is, at the end of the day, you need to take responsibility for your own actions. Even if maybe someone tells you to do something wrong, maybe someone was a bad influence on you, at the end of the day, you're the one that made the decision. Now, it's interesting that there is an opinion that when it comes to murder, there may be an exception. That we find when it came to King David, he instructed Uri Hachiti, who happened to be the husband of Bathsheba, who David ended up later marrying, let's say it that way, send him to the front lines. And when you would be sent to the front lines in those day and age, it was tantamount to being killed. There was no way you were going to win, survive when it came to such battles. So on this, the Talmud actually says, according to an interpretation of a verse in Shmuel 2, that he's considered to be accountable for this death, even though he's not actually the one who pulled the trigger, so to speak. He's not the one who swung the sword. But nonetheless, since he instructed someone else to send him to the front lines, which was like him being killed, so he's held accountable. Now, not everyone holds like this. Some people say that no, he's actually not accountable at all, because this man, Uri Hachiti, was rebellious. He rebelled against the king. How did he rebel against the king? So, according to Tosfos, they say because he was told by King David, I want you to go back home, eat something, drink. And on this he said, Uri Hachiti turned to the king and said, no, I'm not listening to you. How is it possible that all my brothers are fighting in battle? I'm going to sit at home and relax. So the fact that he didn't listen to David, then itself is clear rebelliousness. And that's considered to be like a form of insubordination, that when you speak that way to a king, that's it, you're punished. Now, according to Rashi, they say it's actually something else. That in the presence of the king, he called Yoav, who was a very powerful general in the army, he's called him Adoni Yoav, my master Yoav. And to call someone master in the presence of a king, and you're not calling the king my master, you're calling someone else my master, that shows a lack of respect as well. So therefore, according to this interpretation, actually Uri Hachiti was accountable to be sentenced to death, and therefore technically King David didn't do anything wrong. So according to this, we also can understand the seriousness of insubordination. Obviously, this is referring to a king, but also the element of respect that a person needs to have. Not only that you're not going to contradict someone directly, let's say to your superiors, your boss, but also if you're going to slight your boss in their presence by complimenting someone else in their presence and calling them a prominent title, like was done here, that also could show a lack of respect, in which you can get fired.